Self-doubt and a lack of confidence affects a lot of photographers. Far too many of us struggle with knowing our value, believing that people will value what we do and book us for their sessions and weddings, promoting ourselves on social media and videos and in-person networking events, fearing that we aren't good enough or that we're lacking experience, gear, or knowledge. It's no secret that we work hard to develop our craft, yet in spite of all of that effort, sometimes, and regardless of how experienced a photographer is, that pesky little imposter syndrome voice pipes up, leading us to question what we are doing. Nearly every photographer I've ever come in contact with faces doubt, lack of confidence, and imposter syndrome at some point during their journey, and I'm no exception. So what's a photographer to do to push past that fear, doubt, and gain more confidence, bookings, and income? Well, you start by following these 5 tips. Hey friends, Heather Chesky here, the creator of The Booked Photographer. After being unexpectedly laid off from my steady day job well over a decade ago, I built a multiple 6-figure photography business while simultaneously raising my babies and homeschooling. And I did this with 0 formal business training and in the middle of a saturated area. Now, in the beginning, nobody, and I mean nobody, thought it was possible to make a consistent living as a photographer, but they were wrong. It's absolutely possible to make a great living as a photographer, and I can show you how. Every week, we put out new videos to help portrait and wedding photographers attract their ideal clients and fill their calendar so they can consistently contribute to their family finances. But here's the catch. We are not about grinding it out or neglecting your marriage or your children or your sleep. After all, what's the point of building a business if you lose or miss out on life's most important relationships? So here we put God first, family second, and only pursue the most impactful things in marketing and business, not the things that waste your valuable time and won't make a bit of difference at the end of the day. If that resonates with you, stick around, subscribe, and enjoy. Here are 5 tips to overcome imposter syndrome and self-doubt so that you can book more ideal photography clients. Number 1, examine your thought life. You see, everything you are currently feeling and experiencing begins with the thoughts that you think. Everything starts in your mind. The thoughts you think become your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions determine your habits, and your habits determine your future. It all starts in your mind, or as the greatest success book ever written states, as a man thinks, so he is. So the first step in becoming a more confident photographer is to recognize the thoughts that you are already thinking. If you find yourself thinking unhealthy and negative thoughts, this leads us into tip number 2, which is to change your mindset. Make a conscious decision to stop thinking the thoughts that are full of doubt and fear, and instead replace them with positive thoughts that support the photography business and life that you one day want to have. Let me go ahead and give you an example. Maybe you've been telling yourself something like, there are other photographers with more experience. Why would anybody book me? That negative thought, that lie, can be replaced with something like, I'm a passionate photographer who is continuously learning and will serve the clients who do book me with the best of my ability. Do you see how one thought can get you stuck while the other empowers you to continue towards growth? The bottom line is that if you want to overcome imposter syndrome, you are going to have to train your brain to think successfully. Not only that, but repeating those new healthy thoughts is a must. Remind yourself every day, multiple times a day, what it is that you're going after. Repetition is key. So let's go ahead and move on to tip number 3, which is to take small steps consistently. In today's world, we have so much meaningless information thrown at us everywhere we turn. Our to-do lists are miles long, and perhaps you're distracted with all the other commitments you have going on in life. This can lead anyone to feel overwhelmed, which can then lead to procrastination. Here's the truth. You don't have to do everything to be successful. You just have to do a few key things right and consistently. Personally, I'm a big fan of monthly goals. 30 days is the perfect amount of time to gain traction, and it's not so much time that I risk procrastination. I share this process in detail in the photographer's booking plan, so if you'd like a free copy, comment booking plan below. But here's the gist. At any given month, I've determined one primary business goal. Then I plan out my tasks for the days and weeks for that month that support me getting closer to that one big goal. Of course, like you, I have a long to-do list, but if I ask myself what is the most valuable use of my time right now based on my one big business goal, or what is the one thing I can do now that will have the biggest impact in my business? When I ask those questions, the answer becomes evident. The tasks that would be the most beneficial are clear, so that's what I work on first. Again, this planning process is laid out in detail in the photographer's booking plan, so if you want a free copy, comment booking plan below. Let's go ahead and move on to number 4, which is to just do it. Life is short. We get one shot at it. You are going to regret the things you didn't do but wanted to more than the things that you do. I know it's easy to worry and fret, but most things that we worry about never actually happen. If you're still watching this video, I know that you have a passion for photography. Photography is a gift that you can use to bless others, but in order to do that, you have to act. Stop wasting your limited time complaining about the hundreds of other photographers down the road that charge next to nothing. Stop complaining about not having the right clients or the high-end gear. Stop complaining that your marketing is not working. Stop complaining and start taking action to figure out how to make things better. You can learn any skill you need to in order to change your business for the better. You just have to start. Nowadays, it's incredibly easy to find somebody who has what you want and learn from them. And the more you learn and apply what you are learning, the more your skill set will increase and the more confidence you'll have. But you have to stop complaining and start doing. Let me caution you, if you take step number 4 seriously and start doing the work, you will fail, which happens to be number 5. Expect failure. Hear me out. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is not a dirty word. You don't have to do business or life perfectly. In fact, it's impossible for anyone to do things 100% perfect 100% of the time. So do not put that pressure on yourself. Understand that imperfect action will always get you way further than perfect inaction. Did you know that Thomas Edison's teacher said that he was too stupid to learn anything? He was fired from his first 2 jobs for being non-productive. He also tried 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. And yet, when he was asked about his failures, Edison simply replied, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention of 1,000 steps." Did you catch that? Did you see how Edison's perspective of failures spurred him towards his goal? And let's talk about Walt Disney for a moment. Did you know that Walt Disney was once fired for lacking creativity? And when he had the idea for Mickey Mouse, he was rejected by over 300 bakers because they thought his idea was absurd. And yet Walt Disney persisted. Even in the face of failure after failure and letdown after letdown, he kept going. And now, on average, 150 million people visit Disney's parks every single year. So here's the point. Your failures are actually stepping stones that lead you to success. If you choose to implement these 5 tips, you will undoubtedly overcome imposter syndrome, ditch your doubt, and become confident as a photographer. Feel free to share below which tip hit home for you and why. Don't forget to comment booking plan below as well so you can get your hands on the photographer's monthly booking plan. Hey friend, before you go, be sure to grab yourself a copy of our ebook called The Becoming Booked Method, a photographer's guide to a fully booked calendar and a profitable business. It is by far the most comprehensive resource that will help you attract and book ideal clients, price your work, and scale your photography business. Head on over to www.thebookedphotographer.com/book or click the link that you see somewhere around this video to grab your very own copy.